Okay, in this video I'm going to go through the notes over geometric figures and the undefined terms of geometry. So print out the blank notes and follow along if you missed class. What is a point? A point is a location in space. It does not have a formal definition, but generally that's what a point is understood to be. A line is a figure that connects two locations in space. And it goes on indefinitely. So here we have a point, say point P, and then this would be an example of a line AB. And we would identify line AB that way. And then we'd have the arrows on the end signifying that the line does in fact go on indefinitely. And what is a plane? It is a surface or an area that contains points and lines. And we should probably indicate that it is a two-dimensional surface. Okay. And then the next little section of the notes here is just examples in the real world of points, lines, and planes. The top of a desk is most like a surface, so this is an example of a plane. A whiteboard in a classroom is also an example of a plane. It's a flat surface. The edge of a ruler, that would be the edge of a ruler, is a great example of a line. A piece of string is also an example of a line. And the tip of a pencil is most like a point. The corner of a box or the corner of a ruler is also like a point. There's real-world examples of points, lines, and planes. So point, line, and plane, those are the undefined terms. They are undefined because we need to use some basic ordinary language in order to write formal definitions. So what is a ray? Well, we got to add in some points here. We're going to call this ray R, Y. And so this is a line that starts at one point and goes in the direction of another point indefinitely. A line which starts at one point and travels, or extends is probably a better word, extends indefinitely in the direction of another. Point. And it's important to see here that our undefined terms, line and point, are forming the backbone of this definition of array. So what is a line segment? Well, let's add in, before we go on here, this would be drawn this way. Ray R, Y, with the arrow on top only going in one direction. So here we have line segment LS. We would indicate line segment LS like a line, but without the arrows. And what is a line segment? It's a line that begins at one point and ends at another. portion of a line. What is an angle? Well, if we add in a few points here, let's call this A, N, and G, angle ANG, we can see that we have two rays that start from the same point. So what is an angle? Two rays that begin at the same point and extend in different directions. So we can still see point and line making the backbones of our definitions here. And then here, angle is based on the definition of ray, but ray's definition is based on the definition of point and line, the undefined terms, point and line. So really, it'd be better to say ray, or all of our definitions are based on our informal understanding of what a point and what a line and what a plane are. Speaking of planes, let's use those in the next examples. What is a polygon? A closed plane figure bounded by straight line segments on all sides. So we could do an example. Doesn't have to be particularly pretty. You could draw anything you wanted. There's something more familiar. A polygon is a closed plane figure bounded by line segments on all sides. So if we wanted to get a formal definition for a triangle or quadrilateral or pentagon, we would just need to indicate the number of sides. So what is a triangle? A closed plane figure bounded by 3, or quadrilateral would be 4, pentagon would be 5, a hexagon would be 6, so on and so forth. 3, 4, or 5 straight line segments. Okay, what is a circle? This is a fun activity to do in class because even though we all know what a circle is, here's an example of a circle, thereabouts. To define it formally in geometry actually takes a little bit of work. But all circles have centers, and all points on a circle are the same distance from that center. So a circle is a set of all points that are equidistant from a center point. Okay. Just a few more to do here to keep understanding the definitions. What is a vertex? This point right here is the vertex. So a vertex is the point, there's our undefined term, on an angle, where the two rays intersect. Alright, what are adjacent angles? Well, this right here is an angle, and this angle is adjacent to that angle. So these two angles are sharing a vertex and a ray. So adjacent angles are any two angles that share a vertex and a ray. So a vertex is a point, and a point is one of our undefined terms, and we've talked about how ray is composed of the undefined terms. Everything will always be reducible to point, line, and plane. What is a diagonal? We have to draw one in here so you know exactly what I'm talking about. There's a diagonal. So let's call it diagonal DG. It's just a line segment. So a diagonal is a line segment that connects, oops, two non-adjacent vertices. And let's be clear here. The word adjacent means next to. So adjacent angles are two angles that are next to each other, specifically angles that share a vertex and a ray. Adjacent vertices would be these two vertices are next to each other. These two vertices are next to each other, so those are adjacent vertices. But these two are opposite each other, or they're non-adjacent to each other. So those are non-adjacent vertices. Okay, what is a radius? So let's add the radius to the center. Add the radius to our picture. And what did we just add to the picture? We added a line segment. What does that line segment connect? The center and a point on the outside of the circle. So a radius is a line segment that connects the center of a circle to a point on the outside of the circle. Alright, a chord. If I draw in a chord, it should be pretty easy to write a definition of a chord. What did I add to the picture? A line segment. Where does that line segment connect? 2 points on the outside of the circle. Oops. Let me shade that in a little bit. A chord is a line segment that connects 2 points on the outside of a circle. Or maybe if we really wanted to be fancy, we could say on the circumference of a circle. So we can keep things pretty straightforward for today. And then finally, what is a diameter? Well, we can draw in a picture of the diameter. Again, we're adding a line segment to the picture, and it's a line segment that connects 2 points on the outside of the circle. So a diameter is actually a chord, but it's a special chord that goes through the central point. So what is a diameter? A chord that intersects the center of a circle. Okay. There you have it. Those are the notes. Your practice is here. Undefined terms and some naming stuff here. And then more identifying of line segments and diagonals, and really just more practice. This was practice in class. And then this here, the homework is just a shortened version of the practice. It is 11 questions long and due, let's see, I think this lesson was done on Wednesday, so it would be due on Friday for A day or Monday for B day. Okay, hope that video helps.